Today, I finally get to show you guys the bag I picked for my Appalachian Trail through hike attempt. So all of my planning and research really comes down to making sure that I have a bag that is comfortable and manageable. And so far, I think and hope that I've made the right choice. I went with the Osprey Aura AG, weighing in at 4 pounds, 10 ounces. This bag is definitely on the heavier side, but because of the design of the bag, the weight is really nicely distributed and it honestly doesn't feel as heavy as it is. Because I was going with the bare canister, I knew I was going to need something on the bigger side, so I went with the 65-liter capacity. Since this bag is basically going to be my partner for 6 months, I decided to affectionately name her Shirley, after my favorite literary character, Anne Shirley Cuthbert. So the reason I went with this bag specifically is because it felt the lightest of all the bags that I tried, and it was the only bag that didn't hurt my back after wearing it for an extended period of time. Today I'm going to show you guys how I pack my bag, and even though I tried to be very strategic about how I fit everything, there might be a few things that end up getting shifted around or changed. I'm still learning, and I'm really not going to know how it works out until I'm actually out on trail. So this is just basically my best guess. Okay, so the first thing I started with was the footprint and the tent stakes. I had to separate the tent into 3 parts to get it to fit. Otherwise, it would have just been way too big to fit in the bag with the other larger items. First, I put the footprint and the tent stakes at the very bottom compartment. Next, I put the bare canister at the very bottom of the main compartment. I was a little bit conflicted about whether or not I should put the bare canister first or the sleeping bag. They're both very bulky, but the reason I decided to put the bare canister at the bottom, even though it is heavier, especially when it has food in it, I really didn't want to risk getting the sleeping bag wet if I have to put the bag down. I wasn't sure if water was going to be able to seep in through the bottom, so I just didn't want to take that chance. But for now, bare canister goes on the bottom. Next to the bare canister, I fit my pot and my stove. And then on top of that, I put my sleeping bag. Then I slipped the tent poles on the other side. All of the electronics went into that pocket on the back panel. I put my clothing, my towel, my handkerchief, and some of the toiletries that can be left out of the bare canister on the very top. On the outside pockets, I put my camp shoes, my inflatable pad, my poncho, and my tripod. Because I removed all of the metal from my tent stuff sack, I was able to fit the tent body and the rainfly into the bigger top compartment. Then on top of that, I fit my water system into the smaller top compartment. Down at the bottom, there's a little holding section specifically for my sleeping pad, so I went ahead and clipped that in. Then in the front pocket, I put my wallet and my Swiss Army knife. I attached my Garmin satellite communicator onto the front strap. And last but not least, I attached my trekking poles. So that is basically how I plan to pack my bag for the most part. Right now the base weight is sitting at about 24 pounds, which is also accounting for some of the recording equipment that I had to take and also the heavier items like my bare canister. But in my last video, I did a 4-mile pack test with 28 pounds and it honestly felt fine. So I think this is definitely within the range of what I can handle.